So I appreciate, your time as always. I want to start with just a couple weeks ago. You actually won an Impact Knockouts Championship again against Jordan Grace this time. Tell me about that.
Yeah, it was awesome. I've said it a few times and I didn't realize at the time, but that was the first time I won the championship in front of a crowd of people. So all day I was super nervous and super emotional, and I guess I didn't know why. But in hindsight, I think it was because Jordan and I were the main event, and in front of a sold out crowd in Toronto, I was winning the Knockouts World Championship. So that was really special. Hey, buddy. Sorry.
Oh. Cute, cute dog, by the way.
Thank you.
So you have quite the history with Jordan Grace, though. She's the person that you won your first Knockouts Championship from. You also had a terrific Iron Woman match with her. Tell me about your history with her and how fitting is it that you won your third knockout title from her?
Yeah, it's funny because we had those two matches back in 2020 when I won the Knockouts Championship at Slammiversary, and then our 30-minute Iron Man match at Emergence, and then we had not had another singles match since. So there was, at least Jordan and I felt a lot of pressure going into this to exceed the expectations and the precedent that we had set way back then. So we were ecstatic. Unfortunately, it wasn't the best of situations, Mickey having to vacate the title, but we were really ecstatic to finally get to revisit that singles competition with each other. I've said it time and time again over the last 3.5 years that Jordan Grace is my toughest and greatest opponent. And I know that every time I step in the ring with her, it's going to be great. So to again be in the main event of Rebellion for the Knockouts World Championship, which only 3 women have done, myself, Jordan Grace, and Mickey James, just kind of up the ante for us. And we really wanted to show what the Knockouts division is all about. And I really think we did that.
Definitely, and from a fan standpoint, you guys put on another terrific match. How did you need to change your game plan, learning that Mickey James was going to be forced to vacate and not be cleared, unfortunately? Did you have to change like your preparation ahead of time, like knowing that you're facing like a powerhouse like Jordan Grace?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, we have not been in singles competition against each other in over 3 years. So we have both changed drastically over that course of time. And I had been in the ring very recently with Mickey James. So not that Mickey is any less of a threat or a great opponent and gonna put up a fight for what was her Knockouts World Championship, but I think with Jordan, there's just like a different element. Someone you haven't been in the ring with, someone you're going to take some time to feel out while you're out there. And then again, she's just a powerhouse, coming off winning all of the championships at her bodybuilding competition. Like she just has completely transformed. And to watch that as an opponent, but also as a friend, makes you really, really excited for her, and how that's going to affect her wrestling and things like that. So I think there was more uncertainty going in, knowing this is a singles competition as opposed to a triple threat.
Definitely. And I want to rewind it a little bit to get back to your first Knockouts Championship reign in 2020. You had that Iron Woman match with Jordan, and you became Impact's Iron Woman from that match. How important was that match for not only you, but also the Knockouts division as a whole?
Yeah, I think, well, for me, it was always my goal to change women's wrestling. And there's not very many firsts left. So to be the first ever and the only Iron Woman of Impact Wrestling is special in history making. And I think that that's what our all everyone's goal should be, right? You don't get into something to be mediocre at it. You don't get into something to just stay stagnant. You want to be the best. You want to be the champion. You want to make history. And I wanted to do that since a young age, wanting to get into wrestling. So to be in a position finally after years and years of struggle to come into Impact Wrestling and then be like, hey, here's the Knockouts World Championship. Here's being the first ever Iron Woman. Here's all this history and these groundbreaking things that I never thought I'd get a chance to be a part of was really special for me. But then it also kind of lights a fire under all the asses of the knockouts of like, oh crap, we're getting more opportunities. We're getting to be the main event. We're getting to do first evers. Yeah, it was the first ever knockouts Ironman match, but then we saw, the first ever Ultimate X for the women. We saw Mickey James and I participate in the first ever knockouts world championship pay-per-view main event. So I think that it really showed our knockouts division, but the world, that like there's still a lot of work to be done, and there's still a lot of history that the knockouts can participate in and make.
Yes, and you guys never disappoint. I've been watching Impact since like 2002, like when it was a long time ago. And you guys never disappoint. So massive congratulations for all you guys have accomplished and all you have accomplished
Thank you.
as well. And I feel like I would be a little remiss not bringing up your second Knockout Championship reign because you also had your legendary match where you got to retire Jazz in a career versus title match. Tell me, how did that come about, and what was it like being Jazz's final opponent?
Yeah, I couldn't even tell you how it really came about. I think it was really organic in terms of my character development. And, you know, I had won the Knockouts World Championship and then kind of went on a tirade of our Knockouts division. And I kept saying, like, any competitor. We were in this forbidden door era. So it was like any competitor, any company, any generation, I'll wrestle anybody, step up to the plate. And I don't remember exactly what I was calling myself off the top of my head, but you know, like a legend killer. Like I couldn't be the legend killer, but you know, I'll wrestle anybody and I'll defeat them and I'll retire them if they aren't currently like full-time wrestling. So having Jazz a part of our knockouts division was invaluable. She is just the sweetest, most generous person I think I've ever met, and she really wanted to elevate not just myself but our entire division, and she really did that by putting her career on the line for me. um and just that match in itself, you know, like we had long days in front of no fans during the pandemic, and to have such an like a special and important match, I think, in front of nobody was it was unfortunate. And I think that had we been able to have you know, Skyway Studios packed with fans and could have poured that emotion out for her, it would have been that much better. But even just to share the ring with Jazz under any circumstance was another like bucket list dream come true thing. She's a legend. She was so ahead of her time, and she continues to kick ass. And for me to have a small part in her history of women's wrestling is very, very special to me.
Definitely. And, massive congratulations for that moment as well. Jazz is certainly a legend in the sport, and, massive kudos to her for everything that she's accomplished as well. So looking ahead, you have the upcoming Chicago shows at Cicero Stadium this coming weekend. What can you tell us about that, and how are you going to be making an impact there?
Yeah, well, it's our return to Chicago. The last time we were in Cicero Stadium, Chelsea Green and I won the Knockouts World Tag Team Championships as VXT. And it was just announced on social media as we're talking that Jordan Grace and I will be challenging for the Knockouts World Tag Team Championships against the Coven in Cicero this weekend. So could we see the return of the champ? Maybe.
I like that idea. That's going to be a good match for sure. So looking ahead to also to next week's Impact episode, you got Taylor Wilde one-on-one. How do you prepare for someone who is certainly one of the more dangerous competitors on a knockouts roster as well? And you have Kylan King, who might not be far behind as well. How do you prepare for that extra element of surprise, I guess you could say?
Yeah, this has been a long time coming, a singles match between Taylor Wilde and I, and it's been something I've very much looked forward to. So to see her back, see her like in her element, this is her true authentic self, is really great. And I think that, you know, there's a lot of things she's doing alongside Kylan King that I did early on when I was the Knockouts World Champion with Kimberly and with Sue Young or Susan. So it's not like I don't have eyes in the back of my head. It's not like I don't know what tricks could be up their sleeves. So while I'm out there, I think I just need to be focused on Taylor because she is a threat. She's a former Knockouts World Champion. You know, she is a legend within the Knockouts division in Impact Wrestling. So it's not someone I could overlook for my first title defense, but Kylan definitely adds an element to that. But I'm the virtuosa. So I'm fully aware of what could go down, and I'm ready to pull tricks out of my own bag to make sure I keep my Knockouts championship.
Definitely, and I'm looking forward to that match as well. And looking ahead for you, I always like to end off interviews with the same question. What's next for the Virtuosa? I know we're in the age of the Virtuosa again. you're being a knockout championship, and this is probably going to be another incredible run. But do you have any opponents that you would like to face, or anything that you would really like to accomplish that you haven't yet accomplished?
Yeah, like I said, I think that Taylor Wilde versus the virtuosa Deonna Purrazzo is something that's been years in the making, and is going to be really, really great this upcoming week on Impact. I also think that with this title run, I proved myself, right? I think the previous two were more about solidifying who I am and creating a legacy here at Impact Wrestling. And now I've done that. I'm confident and I know my worth, and I don't necessarily have to shy away from challengers or wait to the big opportunities. I think that I'm a different competitor and I'm a different human being this time around. So that in itself is going to make it different. Our roster has grown exponentially. We have Kylan King, we have Jody Threat. There's constantly girls being cycled in and out. We've seen a new side of Alicia Edwards recently. So there's a lot of talented women that I have yet to go one-on-one with within an Impact ring. And I think that as long as they step up to the plate and they want a piece of the virtuosa, then they are more than like I'm more than happy to give them the opportunity to crown me. But it's not going to happen.
Definitely, and it's always a pleasure speaking with you, and I'm looking forward to many more matches to come as the knockout champion.
Thank you so much.